Alright YouTubers, going to review my AeroCool case that I just bought, and I'm actually doing this on top of the stove in my studio because this has the best lighting overall. So in case you happen to notice the stove in the background, that's why. Alright, so let's get out of the way. Cheap case. If you're going to spend this amount of money these days with all the inflation and price increases, you're going to get what you pay for. Now, I honestly don't believe a real engineer designed this case. I can tell you that had they have built this and then tested it out, put some components in it, they probably would have found all these issues. So let's start with a couple related to fans. Now, if you go with a motherboard that has the built-in I/O shield, you may have issues with this fan. You may have to remove it first. May cause some interference. It's nice that they actually included that one single fan. Over here, if you go with the slots that are in here, and there's 4 of them, your fan will actually interfere with the CPU power connector, which is kind of annoying. May be able to move it around and put it somewhere else, but it appears that the slots are at the very top. So where you're going to put it, I don't know. You may have to go with the smaller one. Why they didn't make this a little wider or longer is anybody's guess. So that's negative. No issues with putting the standoffs in on this. You'll read in Amazon that some people do, but there are of course no holes on this back row, so you do get overhang as you're putting the USB 3.0 or the 24 pin ATX PSU connector in. You'll want to support this from underneath. Decent amount of slots here, so no complaints there as far as running the cables on this side. On the other side of this, which I'm not going to show you, is very tight in there. Had they made this case a little wider, we would have not had that issue where you're trying to put the cover back on, and it's really difficult due to the small size of that cavity. Now on this side, it's nice that they included enough slots in here to put in 3 case fans. However, where are your vents on this side? Where is the cool air gonna come from? Oh gee, down here at the very bottom, right? And if you put a fan in there, this whole thing gets blocked. So the cool air, if it was to even make it in here, would have to come from the bottom. So realistically, you'd want to put in 2 fans only, so you could suck some cool air in. But the truth is, people, that cool air is best if it can come from this direction, right? Get sucked in from the fan, across the motherboard, across the CPU, across the graphics card, and out the back or out the top. So far, things ain't working so great from that aspect. Now, PSU shroud, it's actually, this is one of the highlights of this thing. It actually, is halfway decent. And they did, if you go with the ATX board, they provided you with pretty decent size openings here to run your cabling. So ATX, of course, would come all the way to the bottom, and you would have to run your cables through the PSU shroud. Now, one thing some of you may not know, a lot of motherboards, it's nice to put the motherboard in first and then run your power supply, but not every case is going to allow that. And this is one of those ones where you got to put the PSU in first because your CPU power connector has to be in place. Otherwise, it's, I would say, going to probably be impossible to get that in here unless you take some screws out and force it up through the gap there. So it does have a nice look to it, I will give it that. So far all this stuff is functioning. It does turn on, card readers work. Now, this worked for all of about 2 minutes, and I hopefully will include the video at the end of it failing. But yeah, usually you can hit these things and they'll switch from It started off red. It would change colors probably and then go to like a rainbow type deal. And unfortunately, it's completely dead. So that is not a huge positive for this, right? All right, on the back, for whatever reason, I could only get 3 of the 4 screws in. And, you know, would I recommend this? No, I would spend more money. But if this is all you have and you're not worried about things failing, you know, get what you want. So, made in China. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe.